Okay, let's do some actually healthy hot girl tips. Tips to make you look hot, to make you, most importantly, feel hot, but above all, to prioritize your health, because nothing is more integral to long-term vitality and beauty and connection than your health and your connection to your body. So I was going to write some notes down before I did this, but I didn't. I just drank some cacao / coffee elixir and got motivated. um, but I'm gonna list the first 10 off the top of my head. Number 1 is stop being afraid of the sun. Specifically now, we are in a time where we're incredibly afraid of the sun. We are obsessed with Botox and fillers and this perfectly snatched face that doesn't look human, essentially. And we forget that the reason for this beautiful, thriving grass and trees behind me is because of the sun. And we are a part of all of that. Therefore, the sun is integral to us thriving as well. Sure, wear your natural zinc oxide sunscreen, but stop acting like a vampire because you need sunshine. And what's more important is to have a whole non-processed diet where your skin and the sun are going to interact better together. Number 2, and this is on the same topic. Now look, this is my my unpopular opinion, but I don't really care because there's enough women out there who are like, oh my goodness, babe, you are free to do whatever you want. You can do whatever you want with your body, whatever makes you happy. You get enough of that. So I will be the villain in this story and let you know that sometimes what we think makes us happy is actually detrimental to our health. There's a lack of informed consent in a lot of the procedures we're doing in the name of beauty and youth, and therefore what's more important is truth. And then from there, you can decide what you want to do with that. And that's fine, because yeah, you can do what you want at the end of the day, right? But the next thing is stop getting Botox and fillers and implants. Stop undergoing voluntary surgery, because the detriments that these have on your body are bigger than you probably understand. Specifically with breast implants, the scar tissue that breast implants create in our breast is huge. We don't want scar tissue, because scar tissue means that the life force in that tissue, which is gaining oxygen and nutrients, and if there's lymph around there as well, which is part of our immune system and allows for detox, then this is going to not work as well. That's why we see things like breast implant illness, because all of these beautiful lymph nodes around our breasts are being clogged and stopped and having to work a lot harder and struggling because of things like this. So we don't want to block that. We don't want scar tissue. It is our body's natural defense to fight against foreign objects. Something like implants, something like an IUD is that. Therefore, our bodies are going to be doing unnecessary fighting because they're always going to do our best to keep us safe. I understand there's a lot in society that causes us to question our value as women and put so much of our value on beauty and youth, but I challenge you to find the unique beauty in the shapes of your body and what makes you a woman in a way that is truly healthy for you. There are different breast massage techniques that we can do. There are different oils we can use. There are different nutrients we can have that can help with the health of this. Pumpkin seed oil is great for firmness and growth. Olive oil, breast massage, castor oil to help with scar tissue. All of this is going to actually contribute to your health and therefore long-term beauty a lot more than something like implants. With Botox, the main thing with Botox is that the muscles that you have are important. The muscles in your face move as muscles for a reason. You have to really understand that, like, our bodies are so Our bodies are God. Our bodies are so incredibly brilliant, and we really in our mind like cannot think up a more intelligent system than our bodies. And so all of these beautiful muscles in our face are there for a reason. There are studies done in evolutionary psychology and social psychology that say, in general, women who get Botox afterwards, people struggle to feel connected to them, and they struggle to connect more with people because our face has so much to do with how safe people feel around us, how people interpret our expression, and how they can connect with us. There's so much beyond just spoken language that allows us to connect with others. There are studies of babies struggling to connect with their mothers because of things like this. So it is that big of a deal. It is that big of a deal. It's so crazy that like even myself, I'm struggling. Like I'm 29 now, where I'm seeing wrinkles and like where my face scrunches up, and I'm like, that's me. That's the life I live. That's like my expression. Like I when I was young, I would always have this tan line across my nose because my eyes are very sensitive and small, and I would like scrunch it up so I could see, and I can kind of like see the outline of that as I'm older, and I'm like, that's me. Like that is me. And like when I was younger, everyone told me how cute it was, and it's still cute, and I'm still beautiful, and I don't need to change. I don't want to change it. That's like the uniqueness of me. That's what I see too. Like when I see people, oh my gosh, when I see people get veneers, I love teeth, like the unique formation of teeth are identifiers, right? In crime, they're identifiers. And when somebody changes like these perfectly imperfect teeth they have to be like just uniform, oh my God, there's a part of me that really gets sad because I love it. Like I love your unique teeth. I have like small teeth in the back, and they look kind of funny when I smile and I have more gummy smile, but that's me. I wouldn't look like me without it, you know? So that's my next tip. The next one is the next one is stop making beauty around being more small and perfect. And by that I mean, like, we do a lot of things as women with our bodies that are kind of like, how can I look tighter and smaller even if it means I'm not comfortable? And the thing about a lot of that is it ends up not being good for our body either. So when we wear really tight clothing, it is going to naturally compress our organs. This was really bad, like, I don't know what decade it was, like, what is it, like the 20s, where it was like extremely tight corsets, because as you do that, you're literally compressing your blood flow, you're compressing all your uterus, your liver, all of this is being very compressed together. And so all of these like fluid watery systems of our body, because we're very watery systems, like we're like clogging that, you know? And the same thing with heels, like high heels. When we wear high heels, like we have flat feet, not perfectly flat, but we have flattish feet for a reason. So when we bring them up, it changes the alignment of our whole body. So it changes the tilt of our pelvis. And the thing with our pelvis is it's that way for a reason. So it's the normal, some women have different like unique alignments of their pelvis, but generally it's slightly tilted forward, and that's to go along with the alignment of our uterus, right? And this is going to help with a lot of different systems in our body and the actions that the uterus naturally takes. So we change that with heels. We compress our body with tight clothes. And I always choose comfort over that. And that's beautiful too. It's beautiful that I'm comfortable in my outfits. And when I prioritize that, I can show up and I can feel more flowy and beautiful and confident, because it's uncomfortable to do that, and I choose not to, you know? So going over those, we have play more in the sunshine, Stop undergoing unnecessary procedures that are actually detrimental to your health. And oh, I should have given you some replacements. So let's do some replacements. We can do some gua sha. We can do some face yoga. Oh, I did. We can do some massage and some oils. All of these are going to be really great. And then the next one we're talking about, nicer. It doesn't even have to be looser fitting, because I could wear like I'll give you the Indigo Luna is one of my favorite natural clothing brands, and they have these skirts that are cotton, and so they're tight. They look like, because I know I like to wear like some tight clothes as well every once in a while. I don't always want to be like in a bag. A lot of times I do though. Like, but it's like tight cotton, but it doesn't like compress. It's just fitting, right? So we can still have things like that. Like if people are like, well, we have to sacrifice like going out attire, but if I wore like a cotton tube top and a cotton mini skirt, it's hot. Like it's hot and sexy and it's natural and it's comfortable. And yeah, I recommend that. So that can also go, I can bring that into my next tip, which is natural fiber clothing. And by the way, this is seeming to be a video more on like very tangible things we can do. I can definitely go into a more inner emotional or even philosophical rant where we're talking about like what are the inner workings and inner playings that we can do to feel sexier. That is great, and I would like to do that, but I feel like I'm being a little more tangible here, which is good too. It's just what's coming out. So the next thing is natural fibers. I went through a phase like 2 years ago where I got super obsessed with microplastics, and you know, this needs to have nuance in it, because if we get so obsessed with microplastics that we are then stressed out after, then are the microplastics more dangerous for the body or the health? Or is the stress more dangerous? That's what I meant to say. But the idea is that there's clothing that is basically plastic, so things like polyester and nylon and spandex, and we breathe in actually the more that we wash it, we breathe in these microplastics, and they're endocrine disruptors, so they act as estrogen, but they're not really estrogen, and it creates estrogen dominance in our body, in the female body, which has a lot of side effects, right? Estrogen and progesterone are our sex hormones, and they're really important all throughout our life. In our reproductive years, this is what, you know, our estrogen raises as we are ovulating, and this affects our mood. This affects our libido. It affects how we connect, how we feel, our motherly instincts. It affects the oxytocin release in our body, a lot of things. And so we want balanced estrogen and thus balanced progesterone, because they work in tandem to each other. And so natural fibers are not with microplastics, and natural fibers are like organic cotton, linen, silk, wool, things like that. So it's better for the health of our body. And I have heard people tell me this multiple times, that there have been studies done, I guess, like testing the vibrational level of polyester, and it's similar to like a dead body or something. I don't know. I don't have the statistics on that. I don't have the proof of that, but it's true. Like when I feel natural fibers on my body, it's like, I'm being hugged by a plant, you know, and it just feels better. And so, yeah, at first it was a lot about the hormones and the microplastics for me, but then it became about, it just feels better, and it just feels nicer on my skin, you know? And I will tell you the other thing about this, and this can go into the next tip. Like, let's consume less. Let's consume a little bit less and create a little bit more, right? That's a big thing for me in 2025. I'm actually not scrolling right now. It's another thing. Don't go off topic, Delaney. But what I loved about switching to natural fibers is that I had so much less options. I feel like that sentence is worded weird. When I went shopping. And for me, I love that, because you know that like the freeze state we go into when there's too many choices, it's like that it feels like less stressful for me when I go like look at a thrift store or something, and it's almost like a scavenger hunt of like feeling for the natural fibers and finding the natural fiber tags. And it brings my options down to 90%, and so it's so much easier to choose what I want and to consume less. And so I love it. And so so yeah, I said the natural fibers. You can obviously study this way more. I can do a separate video on this, but that's just kind of like an overview of that. And no, it doesn't have to be more expensive. Like, I find there are definitely some natural fiber brands that are more expensive, but there's a ton I find at thrift stores. I find a ton of natural fiber at thrift stores. Actually, just have to look at the tags. And we should always be looking at the tags anyway, because if you're looking at a clothing store and they're trying to sell you a $300 polyester coat, or you're buying a Lululemon set, which is like $200 when you buy both pieces, it's totally plastic and they're ripping you off, and it's maybe fucking up your hormones. So please remember that and consider that. Consider supporting small brands too. Like I said, Indigo Luna is one of my favorites. Mate the Label is great. Pact is great. Primitive Tribal Craft is great. Thrift stores are great. Okay. So the next one, was talking about consuming less. I have lived nomadically since 2018. So it's been like 7 years now after I finished college. I met my partner who was also living the same lifestyle, so we kind of combined. I'm from the US and he's from Chile, so we were traveling a lot more before, but now it's been mostly between the US, Chile, and Bali, which is the reason why we met. So I'm kind of going from place to place often, and I don't really have the option to have a lot, and that's something I really like about this lifestyle. But I think I'm mainly speaking for, like, I want to approach this in the sense of, like, you know, the last 4 or 5 years with the rise and the boom of TikTok and influencer culture, and like having to buy 10 things to be healthy. Like, you need to buy all of these skincare products for perfect supple skin and no wrinkles and blah 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 blah, because it has this thing like vitamin C and vitamin D, and it's like, go outside, get some sun, it's free. Put your bare feet on the earth, it's free. You know what I mean? It's kind of more like that, like not getting upset and overwhelmed and stressed out that like you need all of these things because this girl, this, you know, healthy hot influencer online has it and you can't afford it, but you're gonna charge it on credit anyway, and now you're stressed out about your money and you're not even sure if it's working. You know what I mean? Like that cycle, and it's just kind of like a little bit more conscious consumption, and I'm practicing this as well. I'm not perfect, you know, I'm not perfect at any of these. These are things I implement in my life, but there's also room for me to grow in these areas too. So that would be another one for me. I think that was like number 5. I don't know. I mean, God, there's so many that I could say, like, go outside, like go outside and put your bare feet on the earth more, like wear shoes less, this is medicine. This is truly medicine. Meditate more, and it doesn't have to be like straight up spine erect, you know, looking at your third eye meditation. It can be moving dance meditation. I have a somatic dance for female embodiment course. If you go to my bio, go to my Instagram, and then go to my bio links in my Instagram, that's a really great course for somatic healing for female embodiment, and it's kind of like a moving meditation. It's being present and moving through dance with what's coming up in your body versus doing it for performance. Yeah. Okay, so the next one I'm gonna say is touch. This is a really big one for me, right? I don't think I introduced myself in this video. I do integrative female embodiment work, which is embodiment specifically for the female body. It weaves together science, somatic, sexuality, and spirituality, so our embodiment approach can be that much more potent. What is embodiment? It is being connected to our body and our inner guidance system instead of our culture and the world around us and what we're supposed to do and trying to keep up and hustle with male biology and all of that, right? I lost my train of thought. Oh, and I do somatic intimacy work and pelvic health work, and so I'm coming to you as somebody who is trained in massage. I do Balinese massage, yoni massage, womb massage, and this is let me tell you, there is nothing more rich and abundant than touch and massage, okay? Touch yourself more, massage yourself more, touch your partners more, touch your friends more, receive touch more from your partners and your friends. Understand that massage is the most worthwhile investment you will ever make, okay? It is healing mentally. It is healing emotionally. It is healing physically, energetically, spiritually. It is one of the most potent things we can do for oxytocin. And if you listen to my video on the various types of orgasms for women, and I'll probably do a video specifically on this, oxytocin is incredibly important for women. Oxytocin is to women as what dopamine is to men. Both of them are important for all humans, but oxytocin is especially prominent and integral for females. Dopamine especially more for males. It's more of the achievement hormone. Oxytocin is more of the connection and relational hormone. Oxytocin and estrogen have a big effect. So when we are nearing ovulation, which is the time where our body is like, hey, if you want to get pregnant right now, girl, you can try, you can go for it. This is the time, this is the window, right? More oxytocin is released too. More oxytocin is released in breastfeeding when we're new moms. And so oxytocin is integral. Oxytocin is what's oftentimes the missing link for do somatic trauma healing work as well. So a lot of somatic trauma work, I mean, it's all focused on the nervous system, but if we can bring in that work and combine it with oxytocin work, then that's what females need for embodiment and trauma healing, and to feel safe in their body and to regulate or create resilience and flexibility in their nervous system. And so coming back to touch and massage, but also because when I have worked with a lot of women who come into a group program or a coaching session that they can't touch themselves, and that might be for religious shame, it might be for, you know, rape that they've experienced, trauma in the past, whatever it is. And nothing makes me happier than to move through work with them so they can get to the point of just touching their body sensually, not necessarily sexually. We can get to that point if they want, but to be able to open conversation and relationship and touch with their body. Our tissues need touch. Our tissues need nutrients and nourishment, and that happens through touch. And nothing, if you are doing going to the gym every day, you have 10 supplements you're taking, your cycle syncing, but you don't touch your body, for me, that's number one. That's number one. So that can be breast massage. It can be touching your tummy and letting your tummy hang and sucking it in. It can be yoni massage. I teach yoni massage in my courses. It can be, just hugging and holding your partner for longer periods of time. It can be, doing that. That's really great when we're a new mom. If we're a new mom, right? I'm not a mom, but if we're a new mom and we're holding our baby like that, that's doing that on its own, plus the breastfeeding. So all of that's like my number. I could have started with that. Okay, so we'll go to movement as well. So movement is a huge one. And movement's there's a lot that I could say about movement. Number one, movement I think is the most important antidepressant and anti-anxiety medicine. Yeah, touch is what I was just talking is important too. But I would say I can do a lot of things, including touch, but if I'm not moving, that's when I start to feel fidgety. It's when I start to feel like I'm anxious and I don't know why. I'm kind of sad and I don't know why. Movement is everything. Movement is the ultimate anti-aging remedy, right? So there's a truck that drove by, but it sounded so loud I thought it was thunder for a second. And so this is what I'll say about movement. I think number one, we all need to find movement that speaks to us. For me, that's been for a long time. I love swimming. So I was trained in swimming when I was young. I know water. I swim better than I walk. And yoga. And that's the philosophy of yoga and the asana of yoga for me. But those for me are those are I love. And then I also love somatic dance. I love dance specifically for a trauma healing practice actually. But for exercise and for fitness, it's yoga and dance for me. I love bringing in Pilates as well for that. If we're using yoga specifically for the physical movement, then Pilates might even be better because it is more formed for the female body. But that's another thing too. I've done yoga for half of my life now, because I'm 29 and I started when I was like 14, so more than half my life. But I go to the gym sometimes as well. I'm doing a strength training program online right now. I've been trying to implement more as this year has started, so about 3 weeks, is to do more organic workouts. So if that means like helping with yard work with my family or my partner's family, or if it means like walking to the store instead of taking Uber or driving there, like if maybe like, I don't know, like digging a hole outside, just like, because it feels more ancestral, I guess. I think like sometimes when I'm like, okay, time to get up and put my outfit on and shoes and go to the gym, I'm like, I don't know, were my ancestors doing this? Is that what they were doing to stay fit? Because I don't feel like they were, and so I don't think it's a bad thing. But sometimes when I'm like really struggling with like the discipline and motivation for like gym or yoga class, it's like, what can I organically do to move, right? And I like balance in that, right? Like a hike is good. An ocean swim, whatever it is, wherever you're at. I really love classes too, because if I'm suffering with somebody beside me, no, I'm not. But if I'm like really having to work hard with somebody around me and beside me, it's like I want the leadership and the discipline. I'm a yoga teacher. I've done yoga for a long time, but I still love going to classes and being instructed, just because I don't want to think about what I want to do. Just tell me, dom me in my yoga practice. So that would be another one. So that's what I'll say about that. I also will say, like, we can try to align our workouts a bit more with our cycle. We might want to do like some yin yoga practice when we're menstruating, and when we're ovulating, maybe it's like a swim and a hike. Or our follicular, we start to do some weightlifting. Weightlifting can be really great for women hormonally. Women need more fat on their body, and strength is really important for hormones, and to stay agile and healthy as we grow old as women. So that would be another one. What else? I mean, again, I'm trying to think of more tangible ones, because there's a lot of inner workings I can do, but I don't want to go too much into that. And I lost count. Honestly, I don't know where we're at. So we're just going with the flow now. Maybe that's where I should end today. I'm like, what other we did... Okay, I can think of another one. So we did speak about the microplastics. There's a lot of shit in our products that we are sold, that we see in store, that we see in places like Target and Ulta. Fragrance in general is very chemically ridden. This is another one, like any type of like tampon or pads that have fragrance in them, throw it away, please throw it away. I use cotton pads, reusable pads, or period panties. And then organic, no underwear or organic cotton underwear. So I'm not a big makeup wearer, but the makeup I do have, I try to find brands that I like. Ilia, I think, is a brand that's more natural. There's definitely ways we can use like beets to make blush. I think like cacao and arrowroot powder for makeup. And also if you do like to wear makeup, just making sure you take it off each night and give your face a break so your skin can breathe. I mean, there's so much in skincare products that are honestly making our skin worse over time. Skincare should never have fragrance in it. That's another thing. So in my life, I make most of my skincare products. And that's another video. I make moisturizer, I make serum, hydrator, cleanser, all of that, body butters, lip exfoliants. And I love that too. I feel that I consume less, and I just am more in touch with there's an intimacy to that. Yeah, like I said, I don't wear a lot of makeup, but the few things I do have, I know that I like. Yeah, I just kind of found out about Ilia. I think they have really clean ingredients from what I understand. Oh, hi! that was Bruno. We're staying on a cabin on some land right now, and there's another cabin that the owners of the land have, and that's their doggy. He's so cute. Okay, so yeah, I was talking about makeup, skincare, fragrance, right? I use just natural oils for fragrance, so an essential oil diluted with carrier oil. And I'll put those like inside the body butter. So if I make a body butter, I might do like raw shea butter with coconut butter or cocoa butter, and I'll add maybe some almond or jojoba oil and rosehip oil, and then some essential oil. So if I lather my body in that, that's kind of like the perfume. So that I end up consuming less, I end up spending less. Yeah, I think that's a good one. Don't wear a bra. Well, there's health reasons for that too. I have like 2 bras. They're both organic cotton and no wire, but there's a lot, like I said, with the breast implants, there's a ton of lymph, and our lymph is our detox system. And so when we constantly like have this like tight and wired, it's not as flowy for that. We have to think, when I teach women, I say we're like a river. We're almost like an ocean. I'll say ocean, an ocean of Shakti, the divine cosmic energy, where all of these rivers are flowing in our body to form and go into that. And so the rivers would be like our blood flow. They would be like our lymph flow. They would be like our nervous system flow. They would be like the flow of our prana or our chi or our ki or energy, right? And so we want all of those rivers to be flowing instead of stopped up and clogged up. And when they get clogged up, that's when it can be, we feel sad, we feel depressed, we're not ovulating, we have low libido, we lose touch with our creativity, with our purpose, with our magnetism, with our sensuality, all of that. So a lot of my tips of like actually healthy hot girl tips are like de-influencing you, but letting you know that de-influencing you, number 1. Number 2, being the villain and saying like, don't get breast implants, don't get Botox, don't get filler, because it's not always, there's a lack of informed consent in all of this most of the time with the procedures, because they are trying to sell you something. Generally it's a short-term fix instead of long-term gain, and there's a lot of things we can do in replacement to it that actually will help in the long run with aging, with beauty, with vitality, etc., and may save you money. So yeah, I think I'll try to do another video at another time with some more inner, emotional, spiritual, philosophical-ish. But for now, this seems to be more tangible. Happy to answer any questions if you have them. And I was also going to mention like no birth control, no hormonal birth control or even IUDs, but maybe that's for another video. Ovulation is incredibly important for health, so we want to do everything with ovulation in mind, with having a healthy ovulatory cycle, which then will help to have a healthy menstrual cycle and help with all of these systems in our body too, all of our rivers. So that's what I will leave you with today. If you have any suggestions for future videos, let me know. I hope you enjoyed this, and more will come soon. Bye!